$10,000 headphones for this one here.
First of all, I'd like to thank all of you for coming. I think that everybody around on this side of the table has an appreciation for how difficult it can be on that side of the table. In fact, there have been arguments all along in terms of who was going to end up doing the firing, and somehow it landed on me. The first step, obviously, that we want to do is to declare the winner, and then we're going to keep the other two teams in. We're going to ask some questions. We will probably then ask you to leave for a little while. We'll confer a little bit more, and we'll go on. Just in general terms, before we get there, thank you for all of your thoughts. I mean, these are definitely not only thought starters for us, but they gave us some insight into what we're currently doing, what we possibly could be doing in an area for us that is what we believe to be absolutely crucial to the success of our business. We're in one of those industries that our product is the same as our competitors. We're not going to differentiate ourselves based on the type of car you're going to get when you come to one of our three brands. It's going to be all about our employees. So we charged you with something that is very important to us, and you came up with some great ideas. Wanted to go through each of the presentations just very briefly, give you some feedback on what we thought was very positive, some feedback on areas we thought maybe there could be some opportunity. I don't know if there's time for questions for us. I'm sure there probably isn't. He's good at what he does. Starting with Team 1, FMA Consulting, right over there. One of the things where I would say that the most positive thing about your presentation, what we took from it and we thought were some great ideas, was in relation to the internship. As most of you know, currently we have an internship. As we discussed later, we believe that there is opportunity for improvement in the way in which we approach our internship, the way it's structured, and I thought you guys hit on something very good there, so thank you. In terms of areas for improvement, one of the things we would like to have seen more of is conversation surrounding the budget. Obviously, in the province of Quebec, we won't bore you with the details, but for many reasons, we're more cost constrained than a lot of our peers across the country, so we would like to see a little bit more on here's what we think you can do with the $10,000, or what our ideas we believe will cost you. Team number 2. I didn't get a title, but somebody said 4 elements. Was that it? Yeah. 4 elements. All right. Well, I'm not the most perceptive guy in the world, so it's a good thing they were here. We thought that you had a very clean presentation. The presentation itself was very good. It was well structured. It got to the point, and you presented it very well. In terms of the ideas that we liked, the student club was club or clubs, depending on the number of universities we decide to apply it to, was a very good idea and something I assure you that we will pursue further. We also appreciated the fact that you of the 3 groups spent the most time on the budget. Obviously, with our business manager in the room, there's always going to be a lot of conversation around the costing of everything that we do, and you guys laid out a very good budget on that side, even though we still haven't talked about the daycare, which might be a little bit more expensive. In terms of areas for improvement, and this came up in a couple of the presentations, both the second and third group, and there was discussion on flexibility. And that's something, again, I unfortunately wasn't a part of the question periods. I feel like I'm in the government's question period. But fortunate or unfortunate, we don't work in an industry that's all that flexible in terms of our time. You know, for somebody to say I'm going to work 48 hours, but you know, half of them are going to be sometime after 5 o'clock at night, really doesn't help us because we're open certain hours, and our customer-facing employees, we pretty much need them at certain hours of the day. There was something that was said about pay equality, which I think in general terms is a very good concept, and we believe in it. But our pay structure, and again, I don't know if we got to this in the questioning, obviously we start at the same level, regardless of who you are, regardless of where you're coming from, regardless of your level of experience. Everybody starts at $32,000. Increases from there are very personal, and that is because by the time you get to assistant manager, you become partially compensated by the profits of your business unit. So by the time I become a manager, if Karine and I both become managers at the same time, but she's had more success at her branch as an assistant manager, our pay scales aren't going to be the same. She could potentially be working for more than I am, probably already is. And so the pay equality was something that if you didn't ask more questions on it, I would encourage you, as you approach the next ones, if you're lucky enough, to ask questions about that type of stuff. And that's what I had for 2. And you guys can feel free to jump in. This is what happened last year too, just so you know.
I can talk.
You gonna talk?
No, just for. But I have a few points on team 2 and 1 before you go.
Okay, go ahead.
Team 1, you said that the positive things. One thing that you didn't talk about internship, but you didn't specify how we get the student to internship, because we do have one, or challenges to interest them in or internship. So that's something was missing. Also, you talked about an aggressive marketing campaign, and that stopped there. What is an aggressive marketing campaign? We don't know. We like that, but we don't know exactly how much it will cost. What do we need to do?
I should be more clear with that one.
Yes, because it sounds good to do what, but if we want to start it tomorrow, we would like to have your ideas on those. Team 2, just about, you talked about the daycare. Daycare cost was a little bit confusing, I think. We're not sure. And that's something that will be hard to do probably, and that will be really costly, even different way. Also, at one point in the beginning of the presentation, you said that hiring someone costs $750, which is actually wrong. I think you just mixed up 2 things. $750 is the cost of going to university and rent the kiosk or the space. And then on an average, we're happy if we hire 1 or 2 people. But hiring someone is a lot more expensive than $750. When we lose an employee, we say that to replace that employee, it's at least $10,000. If you count all the soft costs of hiring someone. So $750 is absolutely not the cost of hiring someone. In fact, we give our employee $1,000 bonus as an employee referral if they just refer us, and the person stay for 3 months. So they cannot just refer friends for a week and then go on. So just a little thing on that. That's it for team 1.
Okay. Anybody else? Maybe we're missing that. Not asking.
I've got some questions, but I'm going to save them for...
Oh yeah, no, the questions we can wait on. So the 3rd, I'm now on the 3rd. And I didn't get a team name. Was there a team name? I'm terrible with seeing these things. No?
No,
so we'll just call it Team 3.
Team 3
okay.
is good.
On the positive side, on the things that we really liked, first and foremost was the honesty. And I think, my personal opinion, that any time you get yourself into a setting like that where you're sort of in a consulting role, honesty is paramount, and it can sometimes be difficult, but I think that you were very honest, and I know that I appreciated it. She wasn't very happy, but I appreciate it. I'm just kidding. And the second thing was the cost effectiveness. A lot of what you talked about, and I don't know whether it was by design or not, were things that we already have in place, but you provided ideas on things that we're already doing that could enhance what we're doing. And I use as an example the brochures, and being a whole lot more targeted with our audience there. In terms of areas for opportunity, I think the feedback would be the same as one is the budgetary side. Anytime we embark on new initiatives or enhanced initiatives, one of the first things that we have to vet is the cost of doing those things. And the other thing that I would say for an area for opportunity, and I'm trying to think of who else I had that for. I think it was actually team number 2, was you used work-life balance as one of the aspects you talked about, which I think is very important. But I also believe that when you're going to get into something as general as work-life balance, you should probably provide some type of framework around what you mean by that. Because work-life balance means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. There are some people that will point towards generational beliefs. I don't happen to be one of those people. I think that in any generation you have different definitions what people are looking for out of a career. We believe that, or I believe that we have work-life balance here. There might be some people who look at it and say you don't. So that's for 2 and 3. Anything else for 3, Eric?
I'll add something for 3. Sorry to jump in, Eric. I think with Team 3, when we look at from the outset, what was the mandate? Clearly, what we wanted to see is we need to attract more people into our business. We want to recruit great people, with a focus on how do we sell that even stronger to females, because traditionally it's an industry that a lot of females aren't as attracted to. So how do we make sure we can market to 100% of the population and not just 50? And one of the things that I would suggest there is that it was very focused on specifically to female employees, or in recruiting females, and didn't touch so much on the good males who might be out there too.
Because they're all at their career fair. Eric?
No, that was the point too. That's it. You guys cover everything I had.
I don't speak English, I don't.
Okay, so with that said, after careful consideration, the committee here decided that, I gotta make sure I get this right, team number 2 were the winners. So congrats, 4 L.